Hello students, welcome back. I am Mrs. Divya dealing with the chapter 10 Microbes in Human Welfare, and this is the second lecture. So in the first introductory lecture we have discussed which are the different uses of microorganisms, right? So in this chapter we are going to study the different uses of these microorganisms. So in this second lecture now I'm going to start with the first one, that is the microbes in household products. Okay, so see these different delicious foods. Wow, this is a cake, a chocolate cake. See how spongy it looks. Soft and spongy idlis, dhokla, spongy dhokla, soft rotis, fermented dosa, jalebi. Wow, how do we prepare all these different food items? So here man employs microorganisms for making these different delicious food products. So if you have seen your moms preparing idli, dosa at home, any sweet items at home, you might have seen that there is some process taking place, or the batter of them, the duff of them is left for some time, right? So why is this done, children? It is mainly so that the microorganisms act upon them. Okay, so we'll study here how does the microbes help in the preparation of these different household food products. Okay, so I know everyone have the question in your mind that what is the main mechanism involved in the preparation of all these different food products. So it is nothing but fermentation. So what is the mechanism involved in the production here, children? It is nothing but fermentation. So what is this fermentation? In the first year syllabus you might have studied about the respiration, different types of respiration, where you have come across two terms, aerobic and anaerobic respiration. So anaerobic respiration is where the respiration takes place in absence of oxygen. Okay, where that is the glucose is broken down in absence of oxygen to produce energy, right? So fermentation is a type of anaerobic respiration itself. So we can say that fermentation here, it is nothing but which has come from a Greek word fervus, which means bubbling. Bubbling means you might have seen the spongy texture what you get for the bakery items or for some food items. So that process is called as bubbling. Okay, so here fermentation is nothing but the anaerobic degradation of organic compounds, that is with the help of microbes or the enzymes we can use. Okay, so how does this actually take place? So there are different food items, as I told you, some of the household products which are produced from microbial activity. One food example you can take is curd. So we'll study different examples here. Okay, so different types of household products which are prepared by microorganisms with the help of microorganisms. So first one, as I told you, curd. So how is curd prepared, children? So here it is the bacteria which is involved in the formation of curd. Okay, and which is that bacteria, that group of bacteria, they are called as lab. Remember this, LAB, lab. So what is the full form of it? It is the lactic acid bacteria. Lab is nothing but lactic acid bacteria. There are different species of this bacteria, like lactobacillus you have. So this, it helps in the production of curd. Okay, so different examples I can give you, such as lactobacillus lactis, then you have streptococcus lactis, then we have lactobacillus acidophilus. So these are different species of bacteria. So what happens actually is, how do they work? During the curdling of milk, that is during the formation of curd, this lactobacillus, it converts the lactose sugar which is present in the milk into lactic acid. What happens here? The lactose sugar which is present in the milk is converted into lactic acid. Okay, so after this, what about this lactic acid? It causes coagulation. You know what is coagulation? Clumping, right? Clumping of the casein. What is casein? You might have heard of. It is the protein which is present in milk protein, casein. You might have heard, right? So this lactic acid, it causes coagulation and partial digestion of that milk protein, casein. So this entire curd formation, it takes place for around 6 to 8 hours. So by this time you can see that the milk is completely converted into curd. Okay, so this is how curd is prepared. So Indian curd generally it is prepared by inoculating skimmed and cream milk with Lactobacillus acidophilus. Okay, so you might have seen in your house your mom, she warms up the milk. So generally at a temperature of about 40 degrees Celsius or less it is taken. So just a small a, a teaspoon of that curd is put into the warm milk, right? So this process we call it as inoculation, right? So the milk is inoculated with curd. So that means what? We are adding the bacteria Lactobacillus acidophilus into that milk. So this curd is more nutritious than the milk because it contains a number of organic acids and vitamins including vitamin B12 is present. Okay, so this bacteria, the lactic acid bacteria which is present in the milk, it checks the growth of disease causing microbes in the stomach and the other parts of digestive tract. We say that curd is very healthy, right? Why? Because of these bacteria. As I told you children, there are also helpful bacteria, beneficial bacteria present. So this lactic acid bacteria present in the curd, they help in checking the growth of disease causing microbes in the stomach. Okay, so you know we can eat that curd salted also, as well as we can sweeten it and eat. Curd is also turned into lassi and it is drunk, or into the butter or the buttermilk, right? So there are different beneficial aspects of curd. Next, coming to the duff of idli or dosa, right? So the batter, or you can say, so how is this batter of the idli or dosa prepared? So it is nothing but a preparation of fermentation, right? So by fermenting the rice and the black gram, or you can say urad dal, right? So the two are allowed to ferment for around 6 to 12 hours. So then by this fermentation, the batter is prepared. So here what happens children, actually the microbes involved in this process, they are leuconostoc mesenteroids, or different species of leuconostoc bacteria, and streptococcus faecalis, or different species of streptococcus bacteria. They are involved in the process of fermentation. Also another bacteria you have, Pedicococcus cerevisiae, right? So here these bacteria are also called as probiotics. Why do we call them as probiotics? So probiotics are nothing but the live bacteria and yeast. Okay, so live bacteria and yeast. So here you have different examples like leuconostoc, streptococcus bacteria. Pedicococcus cerevisiae is a species of fungus, that is yeast. Okay, so they are all called as probiotics because they can be taken as health drinks, that is to increase the friendly bacteria or friendly gut microorganisms, gut in the sense in the intestine. Okay, that is to overcome pathogenic organisms, and they provide useful substances to the body. So different examples, as I told you, lactobacillus species, streptococcus species, you have bacillus species, the different species of yeast like Saccharomyces. So these, instead of taking these microbes directly, we are taking it in the form of fermented food items. Okay, so such as idli, dosa, batter, they consist of these bacteria. Also the yogurt, curd, cheese, they also consist of these friendly bacteria. So these friendly bacteria are said to be probiotics in nature. So this is one, that is the preparation of dosa and idli, that is with the help of fermentation, with the help of bacteria, right? So another important thing, during this fermentation, the puffy nature of the duff, it is because of the release of carbon dioxide. Okay, so next thing, coming to bread. So how is bread prepared in the bakeries? So there are different selected strains of the baker's yeast. So it is prepared by yeast. Yeast is also called as baker's yeast because yeast is compulsorily needed in many of the bakery items. Okay, so the yeast species used here commonly is Saccharomyces cerevisiae. So they are generally grown on molasses. Then when sufficient growth of this yeast has occurred, it is harvested and it is converted into powder or cakes. Generally we get yeast powder, so which is used in the bakeries. Okay, so that yeast powder is prepared how? By growing that in nutritional medium. Okay, so a small quantity of that yeast is added to the wheat flour and then it is kneaded, that is while preparing any of these bakery items. So then this kneaded flour, it is kept at a warm temperature, it is kept to rest for few hours. Then after some time you can see that that duff will swell up. Okay, so this process, as it swells here, because of the enzymes released by the yeast, okay, such as amylase, maltase, zymase. So these because of these enzymes, it swells and that gives a puffy texture. Okay, so this is also called as leavening process, right? So here what happens actually is fermentation of glucose is taking place here. So it is an anaerobic process. So fermentation of glucose takes place mainly and it forms ethyl alcohol and carbon dioxide is released during the process. So because of this, both carbon dioxide and alcohol, they evaporate, and because of this the bread becomes porous and soft. That porous or the soft texture of the bread, it is because of the carbon dioxide which is released. Fine. So as I told you, that is the soft and porous nature of the bread. It is because of carbon dioxide released. Next, coming to cheese. All of you like to eat cheese, adding with the different food items like bread and cheese you eat, right? Sandwich, making sandwich. So it is one of the oldest milk products which is prepared with the help of microbes. So how is it prepared? Generally, curd is separated from the liquid part. Okay, that is to form cheese. So here, this cheese might be of different kinds, children. So as I told you, it is partially degraded concentrate of the milk. The liquid part is separated. Okay, that is from the milk and casein. So there are different varieties of cheese depending upon their texture, depending upon the flavor and taste, such as soft, some are semi-hard in nature, and some are hard. That is depending upon the water content present in them, liquid content present in them. Okay. So one example I can give you is Swiss cheese, so commonly called as the Swiss cheese. So here, this is characterized by large holes. So from where does this large hole and flavor for it gets? It is due to the production of carbon dioxide. Okay, so which is released by the bacterium Propionibacterium shermani. So this is a very important question, children, for 1 mark. Name the bacterium which is used in the preparation of Swiss cheese. Or the question might be, name the bacterium which gives large holes to the cheese. So it is Propionibacterium shermani. Full scientific name you have to write along with the genus name and the species name. So many a times it has been asked in your board exams for 1 mark. Another important one, we have Roquefort cheese. So this Roquefort cheese is generally made from sheep's milk, and it has a texture of like somewhat greenish blue mold. Greenish blue mold in the sense fungi. Okay, so fungus are generally also called as mold. So here, because of the fermentation by the fungus, so it gets a greenish appearance, and the microbe used here is the fungus, that is Penicillium roqueforti. That is why it is called as Roquefort cheese. The fungus here used is Penicillium roqueforti. Okay, hence called as Roquefort cheese. Then another example we have, that is cottage cheese, which is also called as unripened cheese. So here it is also a product of curd. It is prepared by single step fermentation. So here only inoculation of the skim milk is done with the cheese culture. So it has a very mild flavor, and it is prepared with the help of the bacteria Streptococcus lactis. Okay, so this is about cheese. Next, coming to another product, toddy. So what is toddy? Have you heard the name? So it is nothing but a traditional drink of some parts in South India, in the southern India. So how is this toddy prepared? So it is nothing but prepared by the fermentation of the sap of palm tree, right? So a common source is tapping of the spadices, that is the inflorescence of the coconut is used. So it is generally a refreshing drink. It can also be heated, that is it produces jaggery, or which is also called as the palm sugar. From this toddy, by heating it up, you can also get jaggery or sugar from it. Okay, then how is it prepared actually? That is toddy, it is left for a few hours to undergo fermentation with the help of the yeast, naturally occurring yeast. So that is also drunk as a beverage. It contains of around 6% alcohol in it. It is taken as a beverage. Then it can also be used in producing vinegar. Okay, so these are the different uses of jaggery, as I told you. Sorry, not of jaggery, it is of toddy. So as I told you, it is left for fermentation with the help of naturally occurring yeast. You can see that it is taken as a beverage, and it contains around 6% alcohol in it. Fine. So these are the uses of microorganisms in different household products. Remember children, they have given in your NCERT textbook about the preparation of the curd. It's important. Then preparation of dosa and idli batter. Then toddy, you have use of it in the preparation of bread and cheese. Okay, so you should be knowing which are the different types of microorganisms. Microbes in the sense, don't have in mind only bacteria. Even there are certain fungi which are called as microbes and which are used in the process of fermentation, such as yeast, right? So the types of microbes used in these different types of household products that you have to remember. So in the next video, let us study about the next other uses of microorganisms, that is the use of microbes in industrial products. Okay, so hope you have understood this content. Thank you very much.